Hi, my name is James, and I'm here to tell you you can fix your relationship. You can do it if you want to. You may not want to. You may be at the end of your rope. But if there's a small part of you that thinks I want to keep doing this, I care for this person, and I just want to make it work, but I don't know how. I think I can help you. But you have to understand this is going to be a little bit of work, and you're gonna have to do the work. It'll be hard to begin with, but the more you do it, the easier it'll get, and eventually it'll just be kind of part of your day. So let me start off by saying that communication is the first thing. I know we always hear communicate, and you've heard it 1,000 times, and everybody says communicate, but how do we communicate? We start out communication by respect, right? You have to be respectful. If you are disrespectful, and that means cussing at the person, disregarding them, walking away when they try to talk to you, it'll never work. You have to want to do it, and you have to put in the effort. And sometimes being respectful is hard, especially when you're angry or you just had enough. And it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to have enough. But if you want to fix your relationship and you want things to be better, you have to try to take moments to just push that down and speak with the other person in a respectful manner. That means no cussing, right? You may cuss about stuff. Me and my wife, I've been married 10 years. Me and my wife cuss about stuff sometimes, but we don't cuss at each other. We don't cuss about each other. We have arguments, but we try not to yell, and we take time to listen. So respect is going to be the very first thing that's kind of maybe the hardest to get through, to get over. But if you can take those feelings of anger and irritation and just push them down for a little bit, push them kind of to the back burner, and allow yourself to actually talk to your partner, you'll find that problems are easy to solve. And a lot of times it comes with miscommunication. And what I mean by that is you misunderstand what your partner is saying, because we're all different, right? We all want the same things when it comes to a relationship, happiness and togetherness, and you want somebody to be there with you and to share in your joys, and to live life with. But the way we communicate that can often be very different. Especially when it's male and females, and neither is better than the other, but we communicate things differently. I know I talk to my wife, and we'll talk about things, and she'll say something, and it'll hit me wrong, and I'll be like, and I'll be irritated, and the only way to get past the irritation is to stop and say, hey, what did you mean? Like, when you said this, what were you saying? And it's taken time, but we've gotten to the point where she's like, oh, okay, well, this is what I was trying to say. And it may have been exactly what I heard, but oftentimes it's not what I heard, or I should say it's what I heard, but it's not how I interpreted it. And to get her to say it a little bit differently and kind of explain makes a lot of difference. Think about like the movies. You ever watch a movie and there'll be a character standing just outside the door, just behind a wall or outside a window, and they'll hear another character talking about them to somebody else in the movie, and they'll hear about half of it, and then they'll be angry and they'll take off. And as the rest of the scene goes on, the two people were talking, and it turns out what they were discussing was nothing about how the person who heard it out the window or behind the door understood what they were saying. If they just hung out a little bit longer, and heard what they were actually talking about, they wouldn't have misunderstood, and it would have solved all the problems. Or like in a movie when two people are talking and they have a misunderstanding, and then they go away from each other, and so they stay with that misunderstanding in their mind instead of taking the extra 5 seconds to say, hey, what did you mean? And that little thing can make a huge difference. The communication is not just about talking to each other, but it's about understanding what the other person is saying, and that makes a huge difference, because you can solve a lot of problems that way. small misunderstandings can blow into larger things because you don't know exactly what that person said. You took it a certain way. And so you keep reinterpreting that in your mind, and you hear something, and you tend to have this conversation in your mind that you're both having the conversation, but you're the only one doing the thinking, right? They said this to you, and so you interpret it that way, and you think they said this, and this is your mental response to that, and so it grows. And then eventually you're angry at that other person about it, but maybe you shouldn't be, right? Because you're angry about something that they said, but maybe that's not what they meant. And so you build this resentment about it. And so the next time you talk, all you think about is the last time you're irritated, or something that made you mad before. And so you're so focused on that when you're actually talking to your partner, you're not hearing them. You're just focused on what makes you mad. So a big part of communication is actually understanding what you're being told, right? It's taking the information that may have irritated you or you may have heard and say, hey, what did you mean? What did you mean? And so that makes a huge difference. So respect and the ability to just step back from yourself and try to understand from the other person's point of view and hear what they're saying is huge. That will make a huge difference and will help out a lot. So that's how you communicate. It's not just about saying words. It's really about understanding what the other person is saying and giving them time to say it and giving yourself time to understand it. And sometimes you may need to walk away and think about what they said and then kind of formulate what's going on and then come back. Because a lot of times it's really hard to take in information and then immediately, understand it and then give a thoughtful response back. Sometimes you just take it in and it lands on you, and then you say whatever it is that you're thinking because you haven't had time to fully understand what they're saying. It's like when you or your spouse or your partner comes home and says, hey, this was going on, and so I'd like to do this, and here's what I was thinking about it. And you immediately respond, but that person's had a long time, or hours, or the day or something to kind of think about what they're going through, or the question they had to ask you, or the place you want to go. And then when they come home to tell you, and you have to make an immediate decision, if you don't have a little bit of time to take that information in and process it, and then come back with something meaningful, oftentimes the way you respond can come across as negative, because they've had all this time to think about it and they've already come to their conclusion. And so now whatever you say, unless it kind of coincides with what they want to do, can be a negative to them. So now they're mad. But so you have to kind of have time to formulate your response, or to take in what they said and think about it, so you can talk to them back in a way that makes sense to the question, or the accusation that they said to you. So that's the communication part. It's really about having respect and giving yourself and them time to understand and process what's being said, and then you can have a meaningful back and forth and not kind of just jump in and out of the conversation and just respond in the moment. It makes it easier. It's kind of like it's just easier if you have a chance to understand what they're saying, and then you can respond to what's actually being said and meant, rather than maybe just what you heard and didn't really get a chance to understand. So I believe myself through me and my wife's trials, and some of the other couples that I've helped who are just right on the edge, and some of the stories that I've heard, that your relationship can be saved. It's not impossible. It does take work, but if you really love that person and you want to be with them, then do it. Put the effort in, and you'll be surprised. That's really all I have to say about this. I have more information tips, or more relationship information and tips I think that will help a lot, but I'm going to stop with this right now. It's gone on kind of long. This is my tips on communication. So if you feel like this helped you at all, that's great. Leave any comments. If you have any tips that you know about communication that I haven't heard, or you have questions about what I said that maybe I can explain a little bit better in a later video, please leave a comment. Let me know. I interact with you guys as much as possible. I'm here to help, so if you respond to me, that makes it easier for me to help, because then I kind of know what's going exactly through your mind. Maybe I can kind of zoom in and help with that exact point. But that's it for me today. I appreciate you watching the video. Again, comment, ask questions, whatever I can do to help, let me know, and I will do my best to try to help you solve that problem, because I know you can do it. You can. It's doable, and you can do it. So, all right, thank you. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video.